Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Superman and Lois. We're going to be talking about the DC FanDome panel. Obviously, DC FanDome is on today. It would have started about, I want to say 3 or 4 hours ago from when you're watching this video. I'm not too sure when this video will go up, but it would have been sometime around that. Now, they went over some decent stuff. Like, the panel went for, I think, about half an hour. And the thing is that a lot of the other panels recapped their previous season, so about half the panel, if not maybe like 2/3 of it, was literally just recapping the previous season. But Superman and Lois has the advantage of, well, it's a new show, so they just talked about the show in general, the inspirations, everything like that. So we're going to go over everything in order of how they presented the various information, just because it's easier that way, as it's the way I wrote my notes, so I'm not jumping back and forth through the panel and stuff. But yeah, there's some interesting stuff to talk about. But of course, throughout the video, it would be awesome if you could drop a like on the video to show your support, especially if you are looking forward to Superman and Lois and everything like that. And of course, throughout the video, it would be awesome if you could let me know your various opinions in the comments section down below. If you watch the panel, what do you think? And if you're just getting the information from me, what do you think of this information? I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. So one of the things they brought up, and it wasn't like a main topic, but I think it was just one of the first things that they brought up were obviously the previous adaptations or iterations of Superman as well as Lois on TV specifically, even though there was references to the movies, because the movies, especially like the 1978 movie, is such a big like cultural thing. But Superman and Lois as a show will be different than previous TV adaptations, with the main reason being that Clark and Lois are married, and also the fact that they have sons, teenage sons to be specific. And they said that the show will lean into like Superman not looking too old, but having these two teenage sons. Because if you look at Tyler Hoechlin, they go, okay, you know, he's probably in his 30s and stuff like that, but how the hell do you have two like 15, 16-year-old sons? Like, what's going on there? Now, obviously, if you remember back to Crisis on Infinite Earths, right at the end, I think it's the last or second last time we see Superman, we find out that, you know, he has these two teenage sons when right at the beginning, in episode 1, we saw he only had the one little baby. They'd gone to Krypton, not Krypton, sorry, they'd gone to whatever the place is called. It's skipping my mind. I'm having a brain fart, whatever it is, where Kara's from. So they went there to have the baby and everything like that. But of course, at the end, that was changed. Now, Crisis was used to set up the show and gave them the opportunity to tell the story that they wanted to tell and start with a blank slate. So it wasn't like really like the writers of Crisis randomly doing that and then go, hey, showrunner, do this. Superman and Lois was already in the works, so that was done specifically so they can start with their own sort of continuity in regards to the family, if you want to call it. Now, as I'm sure most of you would know, the show is going to be set in Smallville, so it's going to have like elements of the show Smallville because it's just set there. They're going to use, I guess, similar sets as well. Like, why wouldn't you? But then it's going to be mixed with just a normal Superman show and what you would expect there. But they said there's a specific reason that Superman and Lois moved back to Smallville from Metropolis. We do know, if you've read the pilot script, which has been out for a while, you know what that is. But it is they even said it in the panel. They said it's a quote-unquote tragedy. It's a tragic thing that happens that makes them move back to Smallville. They say that in the panel, not me saying any spoilers. But the move in general will cause its own issues. It's going to be interesting to see what that is, whether it, you know, brings out the worst in people or something like that, or just makes certain things difficult, but maybe certain things easier. And they did say the move will make their lives as parents a tad easier, you know, raising your kids in a small town rather than like the hustle and bustle of Metropolis. So that makes sense, but also it could bring up some issues that'll be interesting to explore, but who knows what's going to happen there. But speaking about the two teenage sons, of course, we know their names are Jordan and Jonathan. Jonathan was actually the baby we saw in Crisis, so the addition technically to the show and the universe is the son of Jordan. But the storyline with these two teenage sons of Jordan and Jonathan Kent will be a compelling storyline that ties into the show's core. So that was said by Bitsie Tulloch, who plays Lois Lane. Now, as we know, one's going to be like this, like what you'd expect almost like from a Clark Kent almost. Like he's almost looked like he's got some Superman stuff going on. He's like a star athlete and everything like that. And the other one is more like of an introvert, has some issues in regards to, I think it might have been some mental health issues from the top of my head, but they're very different. They're not very similar twins. Like, well, you know, yeah, well, they are twins, so they're not overly similar. They don't hang out with each other all the time at school and stuff like that. Then they don't look like each other. Obviously, one's more physically superior than the other, so I can see how that can be compelling. I'm interested to see how they tackle it. And you know, whether powers are involved. Obviously, you'd assume the more athletic one's going to get those Superman type powers, but it will be interesting to see what the other son gets and whether it's more nefarious, if that's a good word to use. Now, Tyler Hoechlin, who of course plays Clark Kent slash Superman, is excited to be playing the role in its own show. Obviously, he's technically had the role for 5 years or something like that. He got cast for obviously the first 2 episodes of Supergirl season 2. But he's excited to play the role in its own show with the focus being on that character, as he knows what the character means for people and what the character stands for. There's always been that criticism, they haven't gone too far with Superman. It's well, obviously, why would they? It's not his show that he's appeared on. So he actually hasn't had that much screen time when you think about it. Seeing he's had the role for about 5 years, I reckon if you put all of his screen time together, it might feel like 2.5, maybe 3 episodes if you're lucky. He hasn't actually been on screen that much. So the fact that he gets his own show, he's the star of it. I'm excited to see how they tackle Superman and how Tyler, let's be completely honest, takes ownership of that role, because I personally think he's a great Clark Kent. And I'm excited to see how he dives into being, Superman. Now, the heart of the show, as you would expect, is family. I think you should be able to get the vibe of that just based off, the castings and what's been said previously. But also one of the big things is heroes and villains. They're going to make that a big part in the heart of the show. It's going to be ingrained in the show, but it's going to be explored in different ways, which is going to be interesting. Whether it is classic Superman villains that show up, it is going to be, I think, hard to make that work all the time, seeing it's at least for the first season, seeing it's set in Smallville. But it'll be interesting to see how they handle that, because I think we're expecting some villainy stuff there, but how much of it? So will be interesting to see what they do. Now, the role of Superman was Tyler Hoechlin's chance to jump into something more hopeful and more optimistic after years of jumping into the more cynical side of things. He did say that taking that role in Supergirl season 2 was a big jump for him, but a very positive jump. And I remember back to Supergirl season 2 when they first cast him. I don't think many people were against it. I think everyone was sort of looking forward to it. And to be honest, I haven't had any issues with Tyler Hoechlin's Superman. I know some people have had more issues with how certain shows have written him, whether it be Supergirl or even some of the crossover stuff. But I've enjoyed him for the most part. And as I said, I think he's a great Clark Kent. And hopefully we get to see a lot of that Clark Kent. I wouldn't mind seeing a lot of it in the Daily Planet sort of bullpen, if you want to call it. But I'm just looking forward to seeing him as Clark Kent, as well as, getting to lead as Superman. But speaking of Superman to Tyler Hoechlin is the doing all that you can with what you can do. It's all about the quality of your work, not the quantity, like how big your work is. So whether it be the biggest thing possible, like stopping a skyscraper from falling onto Metropolis or something like that, to some of the smaller stuff like saving someone that's crossing the road, might be about to get hit by a car, or saving a cat from a tree, or helping an old lady cross the street. Whether it be big, whether it be small, it's the quality of the work you do, not how big it is, in regards to quantity. So I think that really gave me the feel that Tyler Hoechlin gets Superman. It isn't about, all these mass disaster things. It's about just being Superman, just being hopeful, being optimistic, just being a good character to the core. And that gives me hope for this show, and I'm excited to see what they do. Honestly, I wouldn't mind a montage at the beginning of the first episode where it's just him saving cats from trees and helping old ladies cross the road. I'd be happy with that. And the big thing that they revealed, I don't think it was the last thing, but it was the last thing we're going to talk about, because in my notes it's the last thing that they said, was that they confirmed a new suit. Now, this isn't too surprising. I think we're all expecting this, but the way that they describe it gets me fairly excited. So Todd Helbig, who was the showrunner, he was the showrunner for The Flash just by himself in season 5, and he'd been a producer and also co-showrunner in previous seasons as well, but he moved from The Flash to do Superman and Lois, so he was excited to do this. Now, he says that this new Superman suit is a new quote-unquote badass suit. Now, the original suit that we had since season 2 of Supergirl, and that we've seen many, many times before, or since then, sorry, wasn't built to last as a series suit. You can even sort of tell in some of his more recent appearances, it's starting to crease around the crest. If you look at photos of it, I think when it's the episode, you don't really see it, but if you look at primer images, you can sort of see it. It was just built to be for guest appearances. They probably thought, okay, we're building the suit, he might be in 6 episodes with it, and that's it. Maybe even 2 or 3. But it's, they can't keep that suit sticking around. Now, whether we see the suit straight from the get-go or he gets it sometime in episode 1 or episode 2 is up in the air. The big thing is that they didn't show a first look. Now, I was sort of hoping they would, because for people that don't know, they were about a week or 2 away from filming this pilot for the show before Corona happened, so I thought they might have had some, photos of him in the suit. However, they didn't show. They might have them, but they didn't show them. So filming starts in about a month from now, maybe just under a month. So I'm sure you won't have to wait too long to see a first look at him in the suit, but I'm excited to see what it looks like. And it sounds like it's going to be a big improvement, so I can't wait to see what it's like. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. If you are watching this as soon as the video goes out, you can go to dcfandome.com and actually watch this panel for yourself if you want to. But if you just listen to this video and got the information from here, it would be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show your support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on what we went over from the panel and everything like that. Do you have any ideas or any requests you'd like on the suit? Let me know in the comments. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.